Welcome everyone! In this video, we are in the Great League showcasing another very powerful team featuring Dewgong. Dewgong on a slightly modified version of team number 3 from my top 3 best Dewgong teams for the Great League. And Dewgong will be serving as the closer. As we all know by now, it got a much needed update coming in the form of Drill Run, making it much more viable. And also on team number 3, we've got Lanturn on the safe swap. I was quite excited to run team 3 from my top 3 best Dewgong teams because these two water types in the back are about as bulky as it gets. Lanturn on the safe swap, quite clutch, quite flexible. And also on this team, we've got Sableye on the lead to protect Dewgong in the back from the Metachams and the Deoxyses. Now, the original Team 3 had Metacham on the lead, speaking of, but I also said you can swap out Metacham for Sableye if you're encountering opposing Metachams or Deoxyses, and Sableye handles those two quite well. Dewgong quickly becoming one of my favorite Pokemon that got some Season 15 love and Go Battle League. And here we go. Speaking of, we've got one on the lead. We don't win this in the twos, so we'll stick it out a little bit, chip it down. We'll plan on tanking an Icy Wind, and then at some point look to pivot here. And Lanturn is the safe swap, in case you're wondering. I just found the most success playing Lanturn on the safe swap. You can also safe swap Dewgong as well. That's fine as well. So they do go for that Icy Wind. We live that. We let that go. We bank a foul play, and now it is Lanturn time. And they meet us with a Swampert. Now, a lot of you might be thinking, oh, well, you don't have water guns, so you're doomed, friend. But no, not always the case, my friends. We can put in work with these neutral surfs, and that Swampert has to successfully bait and land an Earthquake. We outpace to these neutral surfs, which are putting in work, and now I know many trainers just abandon the art of nuance and go straight for the nuke. No sense of baiting whatsoever. We knew that, so we do successfully shield up that EQ, all the while consistently applying consistent pressure here on the Swampert. Now grabbing shields. Oh, who's doomed now, guys? Look at Lanturn putting in the work. And this trainer, again, has abandoned the art of baiting, and they're just going straight for it. And they look to combo play with the Dewgong. Had a move stored. They can combo play all they want. We're about as tanky as it gets. Where did that get them? Where did the combo play get them? Not very far, because we are saying bye-bye to the Dewgong. Lanturn putting in the work. Holy smokes. Love Lanturn. Oh, my goodness. Now they have an Altari in the back, so we're going to put the pressure on this very tanky dragon here. We had stored energy on our Sableye. Going to either do big damage or grab that shield. We grab the shield. And I do imagine once they see the Dewgong come in, they will realize that they have no hope. And it is now Dewgong time. Speaking of, and they realize they had no hope as they do top left. That's going to be a good game. Well played. And for those of you wondering if Dewgong is worth the Elite TM investment, 100% yes, it is. And we had a Nightmare lead, a Noctowl. We make it play in a Lanturn, drawing out a Mudboy coming in the form of newly buffed Whiscash, courtesy of the Mud Bomb buff. And again, just like with that other Mudboy named Swampert, we're just going to stick this out because we can do some nice, consistent, neutral damage with stab with our surfs. We're not shielding a thing as this is not flippable here. So we're going for surf number 2, and they will let that go as they are pretty tanky themselves. Whiscash quite tanky as well. And they're not going to look to overfarm at all. They see that these surfs with stab are really adding up, and they do take us out. That's okay. We're going to come in with Sableye and look to go for an aggressive farm down. Yes, Whiscash was buffed, but it does not hit particularly hard, so we can actually tank these. We don't need Sableye too healthy, knowing that they are bound to bring that Noctowl right back in. So we're just farming it down, really loading up on energy. Not sure if they should come right in with the owl, but they don't. They come in with their own Dewgong, revealing their third. So we're going to go for this big damage with the return. And now it's time for Dewgong. Gonna save Sableye for a potential sacrificial swap, or if we need to clear a potential Icy Wind debuff. And speaking of, they're going for Icy Winds on our tanky Dewgong. That is very interesting, and someone in my Discord asked me why, because I posted a clip of this battle here, and my best guess is that they want to go for a potential debuff win con, knowing that they have an owl, so they're just looking to debuff us into oblivion, and now looking to bring in the owl. They have lowered our attack by 2 stages, so that's my only guess, but we'll see if that strategy helped them out here. Dewgong is primed to put in work. We are up a shield, so going to shield up their sky attack and look to lower that attack first. Or preserve the health and store move and clear that by coming back in with Sableye. Not overly concerned with getting off a move. We just wanted to clear those debuffs so that our Icy Winds can do more damage potentially on this Noctowl. Gonna shield up the sky attack and look to further lower the attack first. So this is why Dewgong is such a powerful closer, guys. I think it is best suited as a closer in the Great League. It's also good on the lead, but I prefer it as a closer or a lead option. Because with those shields up, you can use those shields to protect yourself until you can get those debuffs off. They tried to clear the debuffs themselves, bringing in their own Dewgong. They get hit with a drill run for their troubles, and they're not making it to another move. Holy smokes. Watch Dewgong cook in the Great League. You absolutely love to see it. Dewgong putting in the work. We get to this, and we're saying bye-bye to the Noctowl, courtesy of our Dewgong. Coming in clutch, left standing in the end, closing the game strong. That's going to be a good game. Well played. Dewgong on this modified version of team number 3 from my top 3 best Dewgong teams was absolutely putting in the work. And here we go. Shadow Golbat lead, pretty neutral. Although with the shadow bonus on this Golbat, the shadow ball does obviously hurt a lot more. So we do have to be careful of that. Gonna get an early shield from this foul play. That would have done quite a bit to this shadow Golbat. And we will shield up the potential Shadow Ball here. But they bait us with a Poison Fang. That's a brutal shield. So we're going to look to catch the next move here. Potentially the Shadow Ball. They are at the energy. But they're looking to double bait us. Oh my goodness. And they meet us with a Quagsire to add insult to injury here. So this is... It was a tricky lead and a very brutal counter swap here, but we're going to do what we can. Going to look to get off the Surf on the Quagsire. Does hit for neutral damage with that ground typing. And that Mud Bomb did a lot more because we happened to tank a Poison Fang rather than a Shadow Ball, which is what we really wanted to tank on Lanturn. But we do make it to another Surf. Lanturn, rank 1, coming in clutch. And now we will look to put the pressure on this Quagsire with the threat of the foul play, but they shield. Holy smokes, wasn't expecting that. But Dewgong is a closer, and generally you want to save a shield for your closer, even if they are about as tanky as it gets. And they make a play into a Golisopod. Holy smokes, this thing is a nightmare for our Dewgong. Oh my goodness, those of you familiar with the Araquanid Walrein matchup from a few seasons back, you will know what I mean. A bug water type, hard walls, a Pokemon with ice and ground type coverage. So this is really bad for us. It's resisting everything that we could possibly throw at it. So in hindsight, watching this back and really pondering this one, what we should have done was chip this thing with a foul play with our Sableye, because we had the foul play and now we're forced to shield these X-Scissors here. So if we had done that massive chip damage with shields down on their end, I think we would have been in a much better position here. Because as you can see, they're in Icy Wind range now, and we didn't throw the move when we should. I was just completely thrown off by seeing Golisopod. That's the first one I've ever seen in the Great League, and yeah, this is not going to happen for us. The Golisopod spice really threw us off, but good game, well played to them. How about Dewgong taking over that last battle to close the game strong? My goodness, love Dewgong. And here we go. Ninetales lead. They are running Powder Snow. We immediately go into Lanturn. Just in case they're running Charm, I don't think it's worth checking for that because that Charm is brutal. Even one Charm on a Sableye. And they meet us with an Umbreon. So pretty neutral matchup. It is very close, very narrow. But we do want to control the alignment because Dewgong has some very nice play up against Alolan Ninetales. And it's not a Shadow, so it's not going to be hitting as hard. So we're just gonna slowly but surely whittle away at this very tanky Umbreon here. Holy smokes, but we're pretty tanky ourselves here. Not quite as tanky as Umbreon, but still very tanky nonetheless. And we've just about got this Umbreon out of here. Gonna let this foul play go, and they will make it to another one. So we will have to shield to control the alignment here. And I'm really thinking about it. And yeah, I do decide to shield and look to go for the farm down here on this Umbreon, and we do get that farm down, so beautiful. We control the alignment. They bring in a Swampert here, and we are absolutely loaded because we got that aggressive farm down, going for Surf number 1, grabbing shields from the Swampert, and we've got number 2 locked and loaded for the Swampert. I can't imagine them shielding this one here. No, they do let that go. And they're trying to farm us down, but rank 1 Lanturn has something to say about that before it goes down. We make it to Surf number 3. My goodness. Spark Lanturn putting in the work on a Swampert. My goodness, you don't get much better than that. So now the Swampert is loaded. Gonna tank this one and catch the second one, predicting that they will go for the back-to-back immediately without overfarming. And it worked out beautifully, catching that resisted damage on our very tanky Dewgong and getting ahead on energy at that. That is how you play Pokemon Go Battle League. That is how you get ahead up against a seemingly impossible team. Grabbing a shield from the A9 with the threat of the Drill Run. And at this point, we tank whatever they throw. We're about as tanky as it gets. And the Weather Ball baited us. Nice bait, trainer. We're not shielding anything. Now, this could be the Dazzling Gleam, but guys, if you watch my top 3 best Dewgong teams, you'll know how tanky Dewgong is. We tank that no problem long enough to get off yet another Drill Run. The reason why we're just letting all this go is because we still have a shield for Sableye, and we're still very healthy. So all we need to do is make it to a resisted foul play. And it is nighty-night sleep type for this fairy type. We are saying bye-bye to the A9, courtesy of our Sableye. You absolutely love to see it. That's going to be a good game well played. It's not every day you get to see Sableye taking on a fairy type. Nothing better. And here we go. We got a Shadow Zapdos. That thing hits like a truck. So we go into Dewgong. So I wanted to give you guys an example and really demonstrate why I prefer Dewgong as a closer. So we try safe swapping it here. Having to shield up a potential Thunderbolt, that would have done a boatload of damage, and this is why I prefer Dewgong as the closer, not as the safe swap. It can do well as a safe swap, but you often get met with their counter user, which is why Lanturn, I think, is better suited as the safe swap on this particular team. I prefer Dewgong in general as a closer for this reason right here. Dewgong can put up the fight, no doubt, but if we had safe swapped Lanturn, we would have been in a lot better position and had a much better chance of flipping this and controlling the alignment. But that is okay. We're down a shield, gonna come in with Sableye and get the farm down. I just wanted to give you guys an example and really demonstrate why I think Dewgong is best suited as a closer overall in the Great League. We do take out that Medicham. That Ice Punch did no damage, and we're going to look to put the pressure on the very squishy Shadow Zapdos with the threat of a foul play. Grabbing a shield and going to throw Lanturn in here to catch this damage here. And it is just the resisted Drill Peck. That does no damage. That is resisted, of course. And they've got a Tentacruel in the back. Get a little bit of stutter lag on their end. That is okay. Gonna fire off this Thunderbolt here. And they shield. That is beautiful. And they are farming for days. Holy smokes. What are they building up to here? My goodness. They do play to the CMP. They are at Sludge Wave Energy. So we will shield this out of caution, and they bait us with a Scald and get the attack drop. Holy smokes. So now this is obviously not going to be doing as much damage, but still a lot of super effective damage nonetheless. And if they did not get that attack drop, we would have been able to farm them down in time and not have to tank this resistant Scald here. But it is what it is. We get that farm down nonetheless, and we've got a Surf locked and loaded for this Zapdos with no shields. We get to this, and we are saying bye-bye to the squishy Zapdos, courtesy of our Lanturn hanging on by a thread. You'll love to see it. That's going to be a good game. Well played. How about rank 1 Lanturn coming in clutch in that last one, hanging on by a thread to close strong. And this is why we are leading Sableye. Guys, if you caught my top 3 best teams, this is what I was talking about, all these Deoxys leads. They safe swap in a not Shadow, but a normal Sand Slash. So we chip and dip into Lanturn here just to put us that much further ahead, preserving the Sableye for that Deoxys. That's why we've got Sableye on this modified version of team number 3 for my top 3 best Dewgong teams. And we decided to call the drill run, or call the bait there. And they're double baiting. They have to successfully bait because we outpace, and we did get that chip damage in. So we do shield the second one, but it's just another Ice Punch. That's okay. And we are now grabbing shields from the low health A/. You absolutely love to see it. Lanturn putting in the work in the Great League. Grabbing the second shield. Oh my goodness. We'll take that all day. They can drill run us all they want. It's not a Shadow. It's not going to KO. And we can farm this thing all the way down to Funky Town. Lanturn so clutch on the safe swap, especially with all the Trevenants being pushed out of the meta. And they've got a Registeel here, so Deoxys double steal, very interesting. They will get this lock-on farm down. Never mind, stand corrected, my goodness. I need to have a little bit more faith in my own Lanturn, holy smokes. Too tanky, rank 1 Lanturn OP. So now what we're going to do is just come in with Dewgong and look to do what we can here. They're down on shields, trying to catch, not going to happen. We had the alignment we needed. Again, this is why I recommended Sableye as a modified version for the DD leads. Puts you that much further ahead. Good game, well played. I gotta say, Sableye sure does have a way of handling those Deoxys and Medicham leads. You'll love to see it. And here we go, Azumarill lead. Not ideal, especially if they're running a play rough, but we can put in work here in the 2s on the lead. And this is not a play rough, speaking of. They did not even bother building up to it. Not shielding that, that's just an Ice Beam. And we will look to fire off the return here and see what they want to do. Sometimes they will shield it if they want to get aggressive. But no, they let it go. That is beautiful. So now knowing that they're just resigned to just throwing Ice Beams, we're going to look to catch that resisted Ice Beam onto our Water-type Lanturn. Oh, catching that resisted damage. You'll love to see it. And they meet us with a Galvantula. So we do have an energy lead on the very slow Galvantula. Gonna fire off the Surf and see what they want to do. Likely grab an early shield, as it is about as squishy as it gets. And they have overfarmed by quite a bit, but we tank whatever they throw. No problem, even if it is a discharge, but it's a Bug Buzz. Holy smokes. That's not something you see every day, but rank 1 Lanturn tanks it like a champ, long enough to get off yet another Surf, grabbing the final shield from the Galvantula. And we're going to put the pressure on even further. We were 1 Shadow Claw off from our foul play. And we're doing big damage to the very squishy Spider here, and they cannot get to another move. We are hanging on by a thread. We've got 2 shields. Gonna make an aggressive play into Dewgong. And you can see us spamming that switch button just as fast as we can. And they've got a Whiscash in the back, so this is over. This is lights out. There is nothing this Whiscash can do. It just did not hit hard enough, and we could debuff it with neutral Icy Winds with Stab. They bring back in that Azu, and I wasn't sure who won CMP, so I wasn't willing to find out by looking to play up to it. So we're saying bye-bye to the Azu with a drill run, and it is smooth sailing from here. This Whiscash just cannot output enough damage, and that compounds with us debuffing it with the Icy Winds. It is lights out. They should be top lefting right about here, but they're looking to go down with the ship, and that is okay. Gonna shield it. We don't have to, but might as well. We've got a shield remaining. Might as well use it. And we're gonna fire off yet another Icy Wind, adding further insult to injury. At this point, we probably should just be going for the drill runs. It is more energy efficient. Even though Icy Wind does have Stab, Drill Run is just a better move in terms of damage per energy. But those debuffs are nice as we say bye-bye to the Whiscash. It just couldn't do anything up against Dewgong. Good game, well played to them. Nothing but pure domination with Dewgong on this modified version of team number 3. Here we go. Swampert lead. It's never fun when you're faced with a Swampert, but it's not a Shadow. So the way I like to play Swampert is tank the first Hydro Cannon, even if it is a Shadow. They can't farm down. And see what they want to do. Generally, if they let the foul play go, they have something that's very strong to Sableye in the bag. So we're going to see, yeah, they let it go. So we're not shielding. We're going to soft lose lead. If they shield, then we look to pivot to preserve the Sableye. But they've got something strong to a Sableye because they let that foul play go. There's no other reason to do that. So we're going to soft lose lead and see what they've got in the bag. They've got a Wall Rain, so something doesn't want to see a Dewgong. My guess is that it's a Noctowl, either a Noctowl or some other type of flyer. I'm thinking Noctowl because there's no reason to tank that damage on your Swampert if you don't have something that can absolutely thoroughly dominate a Sableye. So I'm reading Noctowl. That's my rationale. That's my team read. And so we're just going to look to put in work here up against this Wall Rain. I'm thinking Lanturn is going to be quite strong here. Already very strong up against the Wall Rain, but I'm reading Noctowl in the back. And if that is the case, it's nighty-night sleep tight for our opponent here. This is just an Icicle Spear. We weren't intending to shield anything. Gonna bank a move, though, and make a play into Lanturn, thinking that we can get this farm down, but it's not gonna happen. It's not a Shadow. The non-Shadow just a little too tanky, hanging on by a thread long enough to pressure a shield. Holy smokes. Slightly off on that calculation, but it is okay because we are faced with an owl. My team read was 100% on point. You love to see it. And yeah, this is over. This is over. This is the power of Team 3 from my top 3 best Dewgong teams, guys. Give it a try if you do have these Pokemon. Well worth giving it a go. This team is absolutely cracked, guys, I'm telling you, and they do just give up. They no shield that. Lanturn left standing in the end yet again. You love to see it. Good game, well played to our opponent. My goodness, game changer for Dewgong getting Drill Run. That was an amazing buff, and here we go. Pelipper lead, pretty neutral, slightly negative, so we're going to make a play into our Dewgong here. As Lanturn being the dedicated safe swap, that's the best answer to a Pelipper. You never want to safe swap your best answer. And we do draw out a Medicham here, but we have an energy lead. So I'm making note of that. So we do get that early Icy Wind off to take a little bit of the sting off of these super effective counters. And we're going for Icy Wind number 2. Not expecting a shield, but want to lower the attack to take the sting off of these counters here. They are at the Psychic, and we kind of want to control the alignment here. And they go for the Ice Punch bait. Oh, that is brutal. My goodness. Probably should have let that go in hindsight, but you never know. They usually go right for the big move. And this is the Psychic here, but it has been thoroughly debuffed, so it does not KO. Gonna throw immediately and hope that they take this shield advantage. And they do! They fell into a trap. That was a trap. Holy smokes. Now we have the alignment. We can absolutely dominate this Pelipper here. And they're actually throwing a move that is quite funny to see. We're not shielding anything, even if it was the Hurricane. They did have Hurricane energy. They just wasted some energy there. And they've got a Sand Slash as they do pivot into. It is up a shield, and even we obviously won't beat it up a shield, but even in the 2s, we still don't beat a Shadow Sand Slash in the 2s either, so not worth shielding here. The win condition now lies with our Lanturn, but we did just want to pressure a shield off of them, fully expecting a shield from that foul play, which we did get, and they're going to throw immediately. They are not messing around here with our Sableye. And that's fine. Shields are now even, and we have some residual energy. So going to put the pressure on this Sand Slash, and its Shadow form, Surf does quite a bit. Would just about KO from this health range. And they know that, so they do shield using their final shield. And that Pelipper has a Hurricane. I would much rather tank a Hurricane than a Drill Run, but they bait us, and we wait a turn. Run it back if you missed that. We wait a turn so that they could not catch this Surf. We wanted to get that big damage in. This is the biggest threat remaining, and it worked out. So now they look to combo play with the Hurricane. Not going to cut it, but we are in Weather Ball range, so we cannot get greedy here. Just going to spark it down into Surf range. That's the more efficient play. And we say bye-bye to the Pelipper. And we're sparking down the Shadow Sand / Lanturn. Absolutely putting in the work to close the game strong. Yeah, absolutely love to see it. Team 3 for my top 3 best teams for Dewgong is absolutely busted, guys. I'm telling you. And this is the modified version. So if you happen to catch my top 3 best teams for Dewgong, the original version of team number 3 had Medicham on the lead, which you can absolutely run. You'll do just fine. But I'm not a fan of mirror matches or getting dominated by defense form Deoxys. So if you recall, I did mention that you can swap out Medicham for Sableye. If you want to get ahead of those Deoxys and Medicham leads, I mentioned that you can swap Sableye out or swap Medicham out in place of Sableye. As you can see in this video, that absolutely paid off big time. So yeah, team 3, absolutely worth running for you guys. And my goodness, this video definitely shows thorough evidence of that. But guys, I had a blast. I hope you all enjoyed. As always, I thank you for watching and keep up the grind. Thank you, guys.